Detecting talk of the day, 22 September, almost 3:40 p.m. Well, I'm paying attention, boys and girls. We've got one person over there on the old friendly forum. Says, multi-frequency trumps single frequency in the iron. Like they're not even close. Well, I wouldn't make a statement like that. Why is that? Well, for starters, I'll give you an example. Will the DS2 running deep high conductor program at 14 max frequency band keep up unmasking an iron versus using single frequency 32 kilohertz or 40 on a DS2? The answer is no, it won't. You understand, multi-frequency to be good in iron also needs to be running some higher frequency. The E-Track CTX can't keep up. Why is that? Because I believe the max frequency is about 25 kilohertz those machines use. So it is frequency dependent. Alright? And there may be more to it than just frequency, because single frequency ops on a DS2 can outperform multi-frequency in some scenarios involving ferrous materials. Okay? And I'm not even saying the DS2 works like other multi-frequency machines on some of these scenarios, but that is true what I'm telling you about the DS2. Okay? You can see this doing elevated test, and you can bury the shit and see it. Now, next subject. Buried, I see we got this gentleman Calabash is having a little discussion with. I guess he lives in the UK, maybe? He got a Nexus machine. Well, you know, the old sharpshooter is going to give you his take here. First off, freshly buried tests, are they useless? Hell no, they're not useless. In the United States, there's a lot of construction and some older sites that takes place. You know what that means? That means that dirt gets moved around. Those are good times to metal detect older sites when they push down an old house or move the dirt around where it's full of iron. And it is true, some machines do better on freshly buried versus others. I don't think the Manticore is a grand performer there. Personally, and I believe there's another gentleman in the UK that has sort of proved this, but the Manticore is a very good machine on undisturbed ground. But it's not useless to check how a machine does on freshly buried. That would be the machine I might take to a tear-down site, and if it's a great iron unmasker, separator, and that's the next subject. Do elevated tests, test above ground, indicate anything? Well, I'll share this with you all. When the DS2 came out, Mr. Dankowski, and he's no fool, he got an engineering degree. I believe he may work with Minelab. He's worked with some other companies, metal detecting companies. When he got the DS2, he put a post on his forum, and he used this term. Preliminary results indicate this is a flagship unmasker separator in iron. But he also made a stipulation he needs to take it to the wild. Okay, well, he took it to the wild evidently, and he's not put a post back over there saying the machine wasn't a flagship unmasker separator in iron. So what did Dankowski do with that machine to make that initial statement? Evidently, he didn't take it and hunt with it, did he? Next subject. You know, now I'm not demeaning any metal detecting company, and there's people out there that you have choices and you buy what you want, but Sharpshooter is going to share what I think is some good logic here, okay? If the Deep Tech machines are doing something that the Minelab machines won't do, and the XP machines won't do, and maybe even some of the Nocta machines, if they have some qualities and there's some things that they're doing that these other machines won't do, why don't these companies that's making these knob job machines like the Deep Tech and the Nexus, why don't they put some digitized settings on them and get off that knob job shit? If these machines are that good, they'd sell like damn hotcakes, wouldn't they? Does that make any sense? Or let's say it this way. Wonder if we had two machines, one called the Manicore. The Manicore as it is right now, the way Minelab has released it, that machine is a very good machine on the Salt Beach by all accounts that I have read. Wonder if that machine was a knob job. Whenever you had the Manicore as it is and you had another machine that wasn't called a Manicore, but it was identical performance, but it was a knob job, which one you think would sell more in this country? Even if there was a what? Let's just say a $400 difference in them. Which one would sell more? You get to make up your mind on that, okay? Knob job detectors. You can use one, you can find stuff with them. You can manipulate the ground balance on them. You can make them strike stuff. You can make them strike some iron better than it probably should. And that'll, you know, that makes it hit some mass stuff. You know, when we use metal detectors, it's not just what we find that's good. What do we dig up that's bad? You see what I'm saying? I mean, what is the allowable percentage using a metal detector to dig ferrous that sounds good or sounds pretty good enough to get you to dig it? Okay. So if this Nexus machine has got any secret sauce in it, they should digitize it. And evidently they've discovered something that what? The Minelab engineers hadn't discovered. I found that hard to believe. Hard to believe. Them engineers at Minelab are pretty sharp. Them engineers at XP ain't no fools either. Okay? Now, is Sharpshooter going to run a damn 20-inch or 30-inch diameter call on a VLF machine? No, I'm not. If a person was out doing a survey of doing an archaeological dig survey site, yeah, you could probably use one. But digging deep iron there would be maybe even beneficial for what you're doing, the mission at hand. For me, no, I don't want to be digging 15, 24-inch deep holes to find a piece of iron. Now, I want you to think about this too. If Minelab could put a big call on a Manicore, or XP could put a big ass call on a DS2 and make it even a 50%, if they could get it 50%, meaning it alerts on a target 20 inches deep, and there's a 50-50 chance it could be a non-ferrous target. And that turned out to be true after you've dug 250 holes with that machine. That would probably sell. Question is, does such a machine exist? Does it? Well, I don't know. Again, you can put that into your little calculator, you know. So you can use any detector you want. And you can find stuff, even the knob jobs. But I believe knob jobs are just about a thing of the past for most people. You know, you'll always have some people that wants to use the knobs, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't be making any bold statements about a knob job machine compared to some of these later release machines like the Noctas and like XP and like the Minelabs. I might include Garrett in that, but I've not seen this Vortex. I've not seen any reports on it. Okay. So yeah, multi-frequency has some advantage over single frequency. There are some instances single frequency has advantage over multi-frequency. Okay. Now, has single frequency been obsoleted? You know, really, truthfully, for all practical purposes, it has. Minelab's the one made the statement, boys, a long time ago when the Equinox released, I believe. And you see what the other companies have done since the Equinox released. XP released what? Nocta released what? Garrett has released what? So why did they do that? Well, it ain't just Salt Beach Performance, which that is a beneficiary of it. You know, it's very good on the Salt Beach. High mineralized dirt, black sand. Okay. Well, anyway, that is going to conclude the detecting talk of the day. I don't care what machine you use. Just be honest about it when you use it. It's always good to be honest with yourself. You might live longer doing that. Have a nice evening.